So, Marius, at last I find you.
Ethereal, yes. Yes, now I recognize you. I should have known you'd travel in disguise. They're always watching.
I've been searching for you for a long time, Marius. I was rather beginning to think you didn't want to be found.
Oh, forgive me, Tyrael, please. It wasn't my fault.
Not your fault. Tell me, Marius, how was it not your fault?
The Wanderer. Yes, it was the Wanderer. My days at the Rogue Citadel seemed so long ago. I sought refuge from my memories in the company of other outcasts, high in the mountains past the eastern gate.
Do you want something?
Oh, I fought sleep for days at a time. For when I dreamt, the memories would return. Memories of the monastery and the evil which had claimed it. Dreams, memories. I couldn't tell the difference anymore. Had the evil from my dreams followed me at my heels? How had he found me here? How could this broken shell of a man, barely able to carry the weight of his own sword, be the burning terror which drove me to hide here? He seemed to have demons of his own that he struggled to contain. And he was losing. As I watched, I became convinced that I was truly mad. The terror, the destruction, the evil I witnessed. How else could I explain them? Were these the demons from my dream, or were they born within the Wanderer? Why did I follow him? I don't know. Why do things happen as they do in dreams? All I know is that when he beckoned, I had to follow him. From that moment, we traveled together east, always into the east.
Hello everyone, and welcome. We are ready to begin our next playthrough. We're going to be playing Diablo 2 with the Lord of Destruction expansion, of course. So, yeah. We're going to start by selecting single player and then making our character. There are 7 playable characters in Diablo 2. Originally there were 5, but the expansion added 7, 2 more. So first is the Amazon, who uses a spear and a bow. The Assassin, which was one of the expansion classes, uses martial arts and has traps and such. The Necromancer, which casts spells, summons skeletons, and can use curses to debuff enemies. The Barbarian, who is the standard close quarters type fighter. The Paladin, who is also a melee fighter, who focuses on using magical auras to make himself stronger or to make his allies stronger. He can also use a number of different combat skills. The Sorceress, our spellcaster type class, she uses fire, lightning, and ice. And the Druid, who can command wild beasts and summon storms and even transform. I've already kind of hinted in my Diablo 1 playthrough who I was going to be playing as, so we're going to go with the Sorceress. And we got to come up with a name. Yeah, you all saw this coming. This is the game Cousina originates from. I first made her as a sorceress in Diablo 2.
Greetings, stranger. I'm not surprised to see your kind here. Many adventurers have traveled this way since the recent troubles began. No doubt you've heard about the tragedy that befell the town of Tristram. Some say that Diablo, the Lord of Terror, walks the world again. I don't know if I believe that, but a dark wanderer did travel this route a few weeks ago. He was headed east to the mountain pass guarded by the rogue monastery. Maybe it's nothing, but evil seems to have trailed in his wake. You see, shortly after the wanderer went through, the monastery's gates to the pass were closed, and strange creatures began ravaging the countryside. Until it's safer outside the camp and the gates are reopened, I'll remain here with my caravan. I hope to leave for Lut Gholein before the shadow that fell over Tristram consumes us all. If you're still alive then, I'll take you along. You should talk to Akara, too. She seems to be the leader of this camp. Maybe she can tell you more.
Alright. Took a moment to adjust the screen size. You see here I'm using OBS Studio. I want to make sure you can actually see the game. I tried recording with Shadow Play, but it wasn't working, so this was my compromise. I wanted to get my Diablo 2 playthrough started. I can turn on the map, and we can talk to everyone else in the rogue encampment where we start. First up is this guy.
Good day to you, partner. I'm Geed, and I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken camp. A spare weapon, some gold, a small gem is all I want in exchange for the equipment you'll need on whatever quest you might undertake. No, don't be shy. All of my items are guaranteed for life and come with a 2-day warranty.
Geed is one of 2 merchants you have here in the rogue camp. He can sell you some basic items, some basic weapons and such. And he has a miscellaneous tab where you can buy keys, bows and arrows, some javelins and throwing weapons. But you'll see here, unlike Darquan Duror in Diablo 1, Cousina doesn't start with any gold. All she showed up with in the rogue camp was a scroll of town portal, a scroll of identify, and a staff that gives her +1 to firebolt. So she's a little less off than her predecessor in Diablo 1. But we'll talk to Charcy.
Hi there. I'm Charcy, the blacksmith here in camp. It's good to see some strong adventurers around here. Many of our sisters fought bravely against Diablo when he first attacked the town of Tristram. They came back to us true veterans, bearing some really powerful items. Seems like their victory was short-lived, though. Most of them are now corrupted by Andariel.
And Charcy is the blacksmith in town. She too can sell you weapons and armor and miscellaneous items. She mostly has arrows for bows, bolts for crossbows, because now you have to use ammo for bows and arrows now. And she has some basic gear, and you can repair your equipment with her. If I go down here, you'll see there's this woman here with a bow and arrow. This model is actually based on the rogue from the original Diablo. This is what she looks like when you start the game. And when you wear light armor, once you get a medium and heavy armor, she'll change outfits. Her outfit actually kind of looks a lot like this one when you change into male armor, just not the hair. We're going to talk to Kasha here.
Welcome, Outlander, to our glorious hovel. I know you're here to challenge the evil that's driven us from our ancestral home. But know this, Akara may be our spiritual leader, but I command the rogues in battle. It will take more than just killing a few beasts in the wilderness to earn my trust.
Alright. And yeah, right now Kasha doesn't do anything but talk, but later, once I complete a certain quest for her, she'll actually give me a helper. You'll see what I mean when I finish that quest. That won't be for quite some time, though. And this is the person Maurive suggested I go talk to. This is Akara.
Hello. Greetings, young sorceress. It is good to see more of your kind at work in the world these dark days. In my opinion, the world needs more women to fight against the Great Shadow. But I am forgetting my manners. I am Akara, High Priestess of the Sisterhood of the Sightless Eye. I welcome you, traveler, to our camp, but I'm afraid I can offer you but poor shelter within these rickety walls. You see, our ancient sisterhood has fallen under a strange curse. The mighty citadel, from which we have guarded the gates to the east for generations, has been corrupted by the evil demoness Andariel. I still can't believe it, but she turned many of our sister rogues against us and drove us from our ancestral home. Now the last defenders of the sisterhood are either dead or scattered throughout the wilderness. I implore you, stranger, please help us. Find a way to lift this terrible curse, and we will pledge our loyalty to you for all time. There is a place of great evil in the wilderness. Kasha's rogue scouts have informed me that a cave nearby is filled with shadowy creatures and horrors from beyond the grave. I fear that these creatures are massing for an attack against our encampment. If you are sincere about helping us, find the dark labyrinth and destroy the foul beasts. May the Great Eye watch over you.
And Akara is not just a vendor, but also a healer. When you talk to her, she will restore both your health and your mana completely. You can also buy items from her. She sells scrolls of town portals, scrolls of identify, keys, and healing potions and mana potions. She's also got tomes, and she has magical weapons. You can see their wands, which usually have stats that'll raise skills for necromancers, scepters, which increase skills for paladins, and staves, which will increase skills for sorceresses. Funny enough, she has the same exact staff for sale that Cousina starts with. That's usually not the case. But anyway, you'll see a quest log opened here. If I open it, it shows I have a quest. The Den of Evil. Look for the den in the wilderness outside the rogue's camp. Now if we look up at our mini-map over here, we'll see the entrance to the camp right here. We can walk out.
Evil beware.
That's right. So now we're in the Blood Moor, the first area of Act 1. Right away, you'll see I can cast Firebolts. Those will make quick work of the Quill Rats and the Fallen. And if I want, I can just run up and bash them with Cousina's staff. Does do a lot of damage, and probably not going to be too melee focused this run. Ooh, here we go, a mana potion. You'll see I'm already out of mana, but mana recovers over time. And on top of that, you can drink mana potions to recover it. I'm going to take this shrine, which gives me an experience shrine. It says your experience teaches you well, and you'll get this little flag over your character's head. Now while you have that flag, every enemy you kill gives you more experience points. So you see I just clubbed a zombie to death with Cousina's staff, which does have a 50% increased damage to undead on it. So I'll do a little more damage to zombies if I whack them with the staff. And what we're looking for is a cave, which will be the Den of Evil. You also notice Cousina's a bit faster than the average thing. Here I can walk. You'll see I walk pretty normally. It's kind of like the walk Darquan had in the original Diablo. But if I hold the control key, Cousina runs. And you'll see a yellow bar at the bottom under the white bar. That's the experience. And I just leveled up, thanks to the experience shrine. And I can choose some skills to put points in. I also recover all my health and mana, which I'm going to take advantage of to burn up these zombies. Whack another one with my staff. I just said I'm not going to focus on melee, but you'll see here, Cousina's not very strong. Only 10 strength. So we're going to start by boosting her strength to 15. This will give her access to being able to wear any kind of armor. Because the lowest tier armor in Diablo 2 is quilted armor, which has a minimum strength requirement of 12 to wear. So Cousina started the game not even strong enough to wear armor. But we fixed that by leveling her up. We can also choose a skill. And I'll look over the skills in a moment, but first, I want to whack a few more enemies and take advantage of the experience shrine. I just picked up some gloves. And I grabbed that a bit prematurely. I've overridden the the experience shrine by picking up a mana recovery shrine. I just saw it and said, ooh, I could use that, and didn't think about it. Well, let's go over the skills. Each character has 3 skill trees: fire, lightning, and cold for a sorceress, since I'm playing as Cousina. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start, surprisingly enough, by giving her a point in firebolt. Because, yeah, would you believe I'm going to focus her being a fire mage? Fireball, it gets increased damage. There's enchant, which makes weapons do fire damage. And Hydra, which summons a multi-headed flame beast. This is the Guardian spell from the original Diablo. You'll see Cousina's firebolts are a bit more effective than Darquan Duror's ever were. They're making quick work of the enemies here. I found a staff and I think a wand. I want to talk a bit more about my build that I'm going to focus on. Warmth is going to increase my mana recovery rate. There's the Inferno spell again, which returns. You can also get Blaze, which lets you create a wall of fire at your own feet when you walk, which is also real fun. Firewall, which does what it did back in the original Diablo, which creates a wall of fire. Meteor drops a big fireball from the sky that will slam into enemies. It's pretty good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to focus mostly on this side of the fire tree. I'm going to get a Warmth, Fireball, Enchant, and Hydra. The other skills I'm going to want are Enlightening. There's some utility skills I'm going to want. Particularly, I'm going to want Telekinesis, Teleport, and Energy Shield. And to get those skills, I have to put in prerequisite points in Charged Bolt, which we saw in the original Diablo, Lightning, which we also saw in the original Diablo, which isn't quite as good in Diablo 2, but is still pretty decent. Chain Lightning, a spell Darquan was never able to cast in the original Diablo. And then from there, we'll be able to get Energy Shield at level 24. There's also a Lightning Mastery at level 30. Static Field might also be really useful, because what this does is it will reduce enemy health at a certain radius when you stand near them. This way you can try to save some magic points zapping big bosses with your electrical attack, and that will sap their health enough. And it works on bosses too. So we still have to find the Den of Evil. I haven't found the cave yet, but I'm assuming it's going to be across this bridge. I believe if you follow the path that's shown on the mini-map, it will lead you right there. Bunch of enemies over here, but Cousina can just firebolt all of them. There we go.
Not enough mana.
Another fun build, since it didn't go over the cold tree, since I'm probably not going to focus much on it, is if you're going for a melee-focused sorceress, there's skills in the cold tree, like frozen armor, shiver armor, and chilling armor, which will give you increased defense bonuses, and will freeze and chill enemies that strike you in close range, making them easier to fight. I found some items while I was walking around and talking. One is a damaged eagle orb, which also gives +1 to firebolt, and a low-quality short staff that gives a +1 to frozen armor. What I think I can do is I can pick it up, cast it to show what frozen armor looks like, then I'll equip the eagle orb since it's a one-handed item. I can still whack enemies, but you saw I froze that fallen one that hit me. Yeah, you could actually make a pretty effective melee sorceress if you used frozen armor, raised your attack rating through dexterity, and found a decent weapon to use enchant on, which will boost fire damage of your weapon. But I'm going to stick to what Cousina's really good at, which is pelting things at long range with destructive fire attacks. A club dropped. Pick that up. You can see I leveled up again. I'll burn up a few fallen that are here, and then I'll use my level up points. And I think I've already located the Den of Evil. Alright, some more of them go down. Alright, let's put in my points. I've already gotten strength to 15, but this time we're going to raise vitality, since Cousina also starts with pretty low health. Alright, for my next skill, I'm going to place it into Charged Bolt, because that's a prerequisite for Energy Shield, which I'm going to want. Now we'll head into the Den of Evil.
This place is trouble.
You'll see here, the quest is to kill all of the monsters in the den. Start by burning up that gargantuan beast. Yep. Here we have a new mechanic that's introduced in Diablo 2. But this guy up here is a fallen shaman. These guys can be dangerous because what they do is they will revive other fallen that you've already killed. And revived enemies will be just as dangerous as they were before, only since you've already killed them, you don't get additional experience points or items from re-killing enemies that were been resurrected. So what you want to do is really kill the Resurrector as a priority. Getting pretty high on my inventory. I'm going to use a mana potion. I should probably also point this out in the stats. The magic stat is gone. It's been replaced with a stat called Energy. All that really does is it increases your mana. It increases your maximum mana. But the way I see it, mana potions are usually quite plentiful. And with Warmth, I won't have to worry too much about my mana. So, yeah. I usually don't bother putting any points into Energy. And most people who play Diablo 2 don't bother much with that either. Maybe if mana gets to be a real problem, I might. Picked up a buckler, which I can equip since I have the 12 strength to equip it. Which I would not have started with, I remind you. I only started with 10 strength. Just club the zombie with my thing here. And again, like Diablo 1, I'll probably skip a lot of my business in town, which I'm going to go take care of right now, real fast. The routine in town is pretty straightforward. I'm going to go to Akara and get healed up. And she recovers all my mana, too, which she'll do for free. There's always one person in every town that will do that for you. gonna go ahead and sell off all these items I don't need to Charcy. I also don't need these healing potions right now. I'm gonna sell them to get some extra gold. There we go. The potions I start with are only worth 1 gold, so selling them is pointless. I might as well hang on to those. I can repair my gear at Charcy. And then, just because I don't have one yet, I'm going to go to Akara, and I'm going to purchase a Tome of Town Portal. What this is a tome. Since there are no spell books in the game, you can get these tomes. One is a Tome of Town Portal, and the other is a Tome of Identify. And what it does is it holds all your scrolls for you. It can hold up to 20 scrolls. So can the Tome of Identify for Scrolls of Identify. But in Act 1, once I complete a specific quest, the Tome of Identify won't be as useful to have, so I won't bother to pick it up. Should have charged Boltatry on the Gargantuan Beast here. There we go. Got some more Fallens showing up. There we go. Go ahead and touch the Mana Shrine. That'll refresh me, or recharge my mana. Took a couple of hits there, but I can always just drink a healing potion if I need it. A couple more zombies to burn down. Over here we'll find a unique zombie called Corpse Fire. He has a move called Spectral Hit. That means whenever he hits you, he will apply a random elemental effect in addition to his normal damage. And he also possesses a... what's the word?
Not enough mana.
He'll also have some extra resistances to magic. Alright, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set some hotkeys here. Now I can switch spells whenever I need to. I'm low on mana, but I think Corpse Fire dropped a mana potion. Yeah. I'll just burn the zombies with it. There we go. If I hold Alt, I can find all the items that have dropped. So I'm going to pick up everything that's dropped off of Corpse Fire here. I'm actually going to firebolt the Fallen Shaman to get him to stop reviving Fallens. See, I keep going to that menu, but I don't have to. I can just switch spells on the fly. A throwing knife dropped. These are a new kind of weapon that you can specialize in when playing a Barbarian if you want to. What they do is you just throw them and they deal damage. I'm going to put some more points into strength. I want my strength to go up so I can wear better gear. This time, for this level up, I'm going to put the point into warmth. This will get me my first rank of it, and you'll see it brings my mana recovery up by 30%. So even the first skill point in it's really good. A Strangling Gas Potion. I can demonstrate what this does. No, I can't. Level 60 just to use it. Anyway, what it is you throw it and it will create a cloud of poison where it goes. Devastating those Fallen with that charge bolt, but there's another Shaman to beat up. And I can change the hotkeys for my spells whenever I want, so at some point I might be done with using charge bolt. I can switch over to putting other spells there. I will have to be careful of magical immunity, of course. Some enemies might be immune to fire, and with that in mind, it might make sense for me to invest into other skills as well. Found a couple of Ethereal Items. Ethereal Items cannot be repaired, but usually provide higher defense and damage. I have a Magic Quilted Armor here, which gives me 5 to cold resist, and has more armor than the armor I'm wearing, so I'll put it on. There's also a Magic Sash, Crimson Sash of Thorns, fire resistance, and enemies take enemies take reflected damage. Yeah, the Paladin actually has an aura that reflects damage when he's hit. Only in melee though, but when used, it will do crazy high damage to enemies that hit you. I can check the shrine. I can check the shrine. The shrine does recharge, so I can use it again to recover all my mana. Quest log just popped up. Remaining monsters 5. Just checking OBS Studio to make sure it's still recording. The setup I have for this is what I had to use in order to even get the game recording. Because like I said, Shadowplay refused to record the game. Don't know why. Every time I tried to record, it would stop me and be like, it just go, recording is saved, but I didn't record anything yet. There's 2 monsters left. This is one thing that tends to happen a lot when you do the Den of Evil quest. You usually run into an instance where there's 1 monster left, but because it was a shaman because a shaman revived a fallen that ran away while you were killing other enemies, or a zombie that was in one corner and didn't come out of it, you usually end up having to run around trying to find it. That's what I'm trying to do right now. So much so that I ran out of stamina. Now there exist stamina potions. I can show this off. Charm. +6 to attack rating. Yeah, what charms do is they give you stat bonuses when you just simply carry them in your inventory. Of course, the drawback is you have limited inventory space, just like in Diablo 1. And I honestly feel in Diablo 2, it's even a bit more restrictive than it was in Diablo 1. And that's considering the fact that you don't carry your gold in your inventory like you did before. Well, I finally found him. It's 2 zombies that, as I suspected, were just hiding in some cubby that I wasn't checking. So let's burn them down and complete the quest.
This cave has been purged of evil.
And so we're done here in the Den of Evil. When you clear it out, the cave kind of goes dark and all these lights shine in. Kind of a neat effect. Not important. We're going to head back to Akara and see what kind of award she has for me, and that's where we'll wrap up part 1. Before I talk to Akara, I'll show this off. You now have a personal stash in every town, because there will be multiple acts to Diablo 2. You can see I've got a chipped topaz. If I want, I can just put it right here in the chest. I can also stash my gold in the chest, so if I end up running out of health at any point, I don't drop the gold. It will be safe in my stash. But we're going to try to avoid dying at all if it's possible. But anyways, let's talk to Akara. You'll see she has an exclamation point letting me know she wants to talk to me too.
You have cleansed the den of evil. You've earned my trust, and may yet restore my faith in humanity. Your reward is training in the skill of your choice. Greetings.
You'll see a new option appeared under Akara. You can only use this once. If you choose to, you can reset your stat and skill points. And Akara will ask you to confirm, and what that will do is it will give you back every one of your stat points that you spent, as well as every skill point, and then you can apply them. It's kind of similar to in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, wishing for a second chance for life at Shenron. Only here, you can only do it 1 time per act, for difficulty really. And since we're only going to be playing on normal, that would would kind of go to waste if I just did that. So we got another skill point, and I think my next skill point should go either into Firebolt or Warmth again, which would raise mana recovery to 42%. But you'll see the mana cost of Firebolt will remain the same no matter how much I pump into it, while Warmth will increase my mana recovery. So I think I'll put the point into Warmth for now. I'll put more points into Firebolt later. You'll see Kasha has another thing for us to say, but we're going to talk to her in the next part. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you for my next video.